You're listening to the Electronic Media Collective Podcast Network. Yeah, it's a mouthful. For more great shows like the one you're about to enjoy, visit electronicmediacollective.com. And now, our feature presentation.
This is Melanie, and in the future, when Facebook updates, everyone will rush to change their privacy settings back because everything will be run by telepathy, and if you don't hit that button right away, everybody's going to know.
This is Jesse. In the future, 2017, let's talk. Nobody loves a clown. We were wrong. We're sorry.
This is Randy. In the future, it can only go uphill from here, right? It can't get worse.
Well, that's
Forced laughter.
well, you know, we've seen past Pluto now, and we still haven't gone all the way to the bottom of the ocean, so.
Or decided whether or not Pluto's actually a planet.
Or what you saying? What you saying? Or what you is what you
using words good, Randy.
I'm wording like it's 2015.
Yeah.
So what you're saying is we need to look within ourselves before we can reach out to the outside.
No.
Oh.
Nope, that's not it at all.
No. We can't even figure out Facebook.
Yeah, just don't set your security settings. Then you'll find out what your innermost self is.
Everybody loves a clown. Facebook. Telepathic Facebook.
Welcome to 2017. This is the Grawlix podcast episode number 36.
Yeah.
Yeah. Happy New Year. It's the future.
Yeah.
Again.
2016's gone.
So
that's okay.
2016. I'm glad 2016's gone.
Mm-hmm.
I thought we'd talk a little bit about opening this episode up since it is a new year. This episode's going up the day after New Year's Day. Do people nurse their hangovers on New Year's Day, right?
Yeah, I think so.
Oh,
it's New Year's Eve when everybody gets the bubbly and like nobody's used to bubbly.
Uh-huh.
So, like, the next day, they're like, oh, bubbly.
So, hopefully everybody's recovered or recovering from their hangovers. Although, Monday is, like, the weird observing New Year's Day. So, I think a lot of businesses, or at least, like, banks and stuff, are going to be closed today.
Mm.
Are going to be closed today as we speak about it. And, yeah.
But this is the future. If you don't have direct deposit now, then you're living in the past.
That's a good point.
Yes.
That's a good point. What was the point? Oh, as you're nursing your hangover, hopefully feeling better, recovering from it, don't drink and drive, kids. So, kids don't drink.
Or drive.
Or drive, for that matter.
Or drive, yeah.
You probably shouldn't be driving, child.
Speaking of which, I need to, like, renew my license this year, so...
Oh, really?
Good. Yeah. I can't do it online because I did it online last year, and apparently 2 years in a row is way out.
Really?
I guess. It says on the little postcard that they give you, like, hey, you can do this online if you haven't had any, like, felony charges, misdemeanors, whatever, and you didn't do it last year.
Wait.
If you did it last year, you got to come in.
Your driver's license? You renew your driver's license every year?
No, whatever. But, like, every... how many years it is?
5,
yeah, the last time, yeah.
They want you to just pop in once every decade or so, you know.
Look, listen, we need a new photo because your old photo is the same photo, so here we go.
Mm-hmm.
And all those felonies.
All that vehicular manslaughter.
Oh, God. Jesse's the one taking this episode dark.
Well, you know.
So, 2017, looking up.
Yeah, come on. I mean, yeah.
So before we get to the pull list feature, I thought we'd talk about a little bit of some New Year's stuff. compare our this year's, come up with some New Year's resolutions, compare them to last year, how we did.
Mm-hmm.
Also, we should probably talk a little bit about some format changes.
Yeah. It's a new year. It's time for rebirth.
Yeah.
New rules.
And we've got an amazing wet blanket tunnel to bring you a new show.
We're going to rebirth this show.
That's a great callback.
Perfect.
What my future prediction should have been is, in the future, you're going to hear twice as much Grawlix podcast.
Oh.
We're going to double up.
You are.
We're going to double up on you. I'm going to get me them high episode numbers.
100, here we come. Wait a minute. No, 50. 50, here we come.
50, here we come. Yeah. Okay, so, I mean, here's how it is. We're going twice a month. That's a big announcement, because I don't think
that's huge.
I don't think we've really talked about this online at all, so this is all new information for you.
Huge even.
Huge news.
Enormous.
Yeah. Big league.
Yeah.
Oh god, can we
it's gonna be great.
Can we do an episode without a reference to that?
No. This is the world we live in now, Randy.
So what's gonna happen is, the last several episodes, we've kind of made an effort to make them a bit more, they've been a little shorter, but a bit more focused. A little less meandering, kinda. Maybe a little bit. And people have really kind of like responded very positively to that. I think it's easier to get through one of our tighter, more focused episodes than one of our 3-hour epics.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So we're going to take that idea and run with it. You're going to get slightly shorter episodes.
Slightly. I don't know. I'd be like,
slightly. That remains to be seen. Yeah.
Yeah.
That, or we're going to just wreck our Sundays recording these things. But you're going to get 2 a month. It'll be still the first Monday of every month, but also now the third Monday of every month, because like Jesse said on the pre-show, something about Mondays. Garfield hates Mondays.
Garfield hates them.
No, because, Mondays suck. You need something good on Mondays, so we're here to kind of brighten 2 of them each month.
Mm-hmm.
Like Gazorpasorp Field.
Right. Yeah, exactly.
Where's my enchiladas, John? This is not a joke.
See, oddly enough, my go-to reference the last couple episodes have been the orange, and Jesse's has been for quite a while now, Rick.
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah.
It's because Rick is great.
So
the orange. Are you talking about the annoying orange thing?
Oh yeah, kinda. No, I'm talking about.
That's what I'm gonna call him from now on.
I'm not using his Voldemort. Thou who shalt not be named.
Voldemort, the annoying orange.
He's all over the TV anymore.
Oh,
the orange.
Oh,
choosing people, not choosing people.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'm excited. 2 episodes a month, double the Grawlix.
I'm excited. Yeah. I'm excited as well.
We need some twins to promote it.
No, we don't.
Creepy shining twins.
Those weren't actually twins.
You can get behind creepy shining twins.
They were like Irish twins or whatever they're called. Is that racist?
Siamese twins.
It probably is racist.
It's probably racist. No, when you have a kid and then you have another kid 9 months later.
Episode title, probably racist. Probably racist. Huh?
It's probably is.
Irish twins. Oh,
Irish twins.
You never heard
Yikes.
that? Oh.
No, I'm Irish.
Well, do you have an Irish twin?
It's like when you go to Ireland and you order an Irish, an Irish car bomb. That's not what you would do in Ireland. You can order those in America. You can't order those in Ireland. So it's too real. It's too true.
What do you get if you order Irish? Give me Irish twins.
I think I might have heard somebody else say Catholic twins too. So whatever.
I don't know that either. I think we're getting into dangerous territory. We're just saying things we don't understand.
No, yeah. I understand them perfectly well.
We're offending race and religion now.
and
we touched on politics, so here we go.
Possibly your drinking habits. Also.
Trifecta, yeah. there's no question.
All right, so yeah, we wanted to drop that right at the beginning, let you guys know. Man, I'm excited.
Yeah.
Oh, man.
And a little disappointed already. Wait, what?
We'll still do nights occasionally, and I'm sure if there's something super pressing, we'll do bites, but you know.
The bites and the nights tend to be like, oh, we've got somebody that, it's usually because of a guest or something that is very pressing time-wise, and if we don't talk about it now, it's going to be too late.
Yeah, exactly.
So
and they're like special
apply.
occasions that come up.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
And they usually happen outside of the regular recording schedule anyways. So
Right.
this new format's not going to really affect that.
Mm-mm. So what we're going to do is we're going to still stick with the poll list. The first episode of the month, the first Monday of the month, we're still going to talk about that poll list. And that is also when we will take the votes for what the next month's book will be. So the first Monday...
We're going to take all the votes, not just some of the votes as determined by the state or the district.
Wow, we can't help ourselves.
No, I'm sorry. I should have held back.
Depending on like future events, you'll be able to definitely tell about when we recorded this episode versus when it went out.
Yeah.
And I'm not predicting anything in relation to any of that again.
Right.
Listen, we're going through the grief cycle right now, so we're going to hit different stages in different episodes.
I think right now we're in the delirium stage. Is that a stage?
I think
I'm in that stage all the time.
I think last episode we were in denial, so like now we're like in the anger stage of grief.
Yep. So anyway, what I was saying is the first episode of each month we'll still do the poll list, just like a normal episode, poll list pick. Visit the website, grawlixpodcast.com, vote on what you want us to read the next month. And that's what we will read and discuss on the next first of the month episode, first Monday of the month.
Mm-hmm.
So basically, poll list segment is staying exactly the same and happening on the same exact time frame.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
The second episode of the month will be our like freeform special feature. You know, it's like when we talk about some other random book we pick, something we pick, or something that comes up that's interesting that we want to talk about, or a movie, or we want to do like a Doctor Who special, something like that. Oh, how about that Doctor Who Christmas special, by the way?
I didn't see it.
Hey, it was so good.
Oh,
Except maybe it wasn't so good because Christmas specials are weird.
We could record both. Man, that was great. Man, that was disappointing.
yeah.
I can't believe they went there.
Uh-huh.
And that surprise ending.
Could you believe that they showed up at the end?
Whoa. Yeah, no, I don't. I still don't believe it.
What about that cameo? Mind blown.
Yeah. Except we all saw it coming.
Yeah. Oh, and I hated that one guy.
Yeah. He should quit making jokes.
So let's just move right upon the next segment.
Oh, no.
I feel like we need to slap a Grawlix on our intro here.
Yeah. Remember, shorter, tighter episodes.
Focused.
Yeah, let's-
Right. Yep.
Let's focus on that.
Yep.
I think we actually derail ourselves by like going on about shorter, tighter, more focused.
Yeah, I don't like those terminologies, so let's not.
Longer.
Yeah.
Looser.
Girthier.
Sloppy content.
That sounds fun. Come on.
Ooh, where are we going and why are we in this handbasket?
So what we're going to talk about is the new year. We've clearly turned over some kind of leaf.
I feel like we're excited about it already.
Yeah.
Just based on what we've talked about.
Right?
Pretty excited about 2017.
So I figured how we'd do that is take a look back
Oh,
at
God.
2016. We won't dive too deep into it. 2016.
Actually, it was a good year for us.
In some respects, certainly, man. We got the Patreon going. We got some good bites and nights episodes. We connected with some good people.
Yep.
Yeah.
So I listened to because this is our third New Year's. We've been doing it long enough. This is our third New Year's Day Eve episode.
Ooh.
We've been at it for a while.
Yeah.
So I took a listen to last year's to see how, what we wanted to do, and we could kind of talk about what we actually did.
Yeah, because I didn't do it.
Do you remember at all what you wanted to do?
Yeah, I wanted to do more.
You wanted to do everything.
Yeah.
And you know what?
You did a thing.
Yeah, you did. I don't know if you planned it that way, but
An improvement remains to be seen, I suppose. Okay, so we'll start with Jesse.
Mm-hmm.
So last year, he said, I think this was before you launched Cartwheels Pod.
well, I had launched like the first episode. I had put it out there.
Okay, yeah, you said you wanted to do more another podcast. You'd be doing 2 podcasts.
Yes,
Cartwheels Pod.
And I kind of did, kind of.
I think you did. I mean, you did. I don't think you. I could be wrong, but I don't think you ever had a consistent schedule for it.
No, and it's not over, but I would say that we've concluded season 0, and when it comes back, it'll be season 1, and we'll have a new format. So
format changes all around. Do you feel good about that one? What you've done with it?
I hit a lot of different things in that first season, and I really got my feet wet on a solo show, and yeah, I feel like it did what it was supposed to do for that first preseason, I guess. And I know what I want to do with it now, which I think I went into it thinking I had a clear idea, and I think a lot of podcasters probably do that. They go in thinking they know what they want to do, and then they go, oh, wait a minute, what I actually want to do, this. And so I want to take a little bit of the old, a little bit of the new, and just hit it with a little bit more of what was working and what, take away what wasn't for me. Like it was, because it's kind of the more personal project. So, yeah.
Well, good. I think you should feel that
Good
way
job,
about it.
Jesse.
The funny thing about that show is that it was an introspective show. Like I was talking about all the things I was doing with meditation and whatnot, and so that gets you thinking. Like meditation gets you thinking, even though meditation is about not thinking, kind of.
It grows gray matter. I read an article on it.
Yeah. So I have too much gray matter, and I'm gonna have to whittle that down a little bit, I guess. Is that good for people? Probably not.
I don't know.
Kids, don't whittle your gray matter.
No, it just means you can spend more time, doing the things that people always told you it's going to rot your brain. Well, you can because you meditate. So
you got extra brain to rot.
Yeah. So yeah, I'm gonna ready to refocus that a little bit.
Do we want to just keep on each person and go through the couple things they said, or do we want to alternate between people?
Well, I mean, the other thing that we talked about, I wanted to do, even though I was doing the second podcast, I didn't want to let Knights and Bites kind of suffer. And boy, they didn't. We had some great Knights episodes, even though I didn't solo. In the past, I'd done a lot of solo Bites. We didn't lack. We probably did better in terms of Bites and Knights last year.
Yeah, no, I think we definitely had a solid year in terms of that. I see you added more notes too. That's awesome. In terms of Knights, we had we did interviews with Pete Mitchell,
right, from No More Kings, and his recent solo album, which is now out, and
also Vince Dorse.
And I just got his book from Kickstarter in the mail this weekend, really, and it looks great. No surprises there.
Yeah, he's the creator of Untold Tales of Bigfoot. In case you haven't checked that out, you should definitely check that out. And he does lots of other awesome freelance illustration stuff. Super talented dude.
Yeah.
And both of those were awesome interviews. Vince Dorse, I was a one-on-one deal. I talked to him. It was actually it was really good because that can be intimidating for both people. And that came out really well. And there's a great clamor clip out of that.
Yeah.
And then Pete Mitchell was all of us.
Yeah, that was a fun episode. I still go back and listen to it and I go, oh, what am I doing with my life? I need to start a Patreon.
It is talking to him. It's definitely, it's makes you want to go do things, good things, positive things.
I feel like that was a good interview. I mean, we've done good interviews, but I feel like Pete really gave us a lot there.
I painted a picture.
Melanie, you've painted several pictures.
Yeah, I did.
It made you want to do things.
Mm-hmm.
Good.
And then we had some good bites. We had like one will tie into one of mine, but me and Jesse did a commentary track. We've done occasional, like we had the Batman v Superman review episode, off bites. But we also had other podcasters on. We had Brandon Lapani on an episode in which me and him did live. That was very interesting.
For the first time, yeah.
First Grawlix live episode. That was very interesting. And then we also, I did an episode with Robert Cast of the Roman Podcast, and they sent us Christmas cards.
They did.
Yep.
Like physical holiday season's greetings cards in the mail, all the way from Canada.
Yeah, we should reciprocate.
It's true. It's true what they say. Like, Canadians are super nice.
Brandon didn't send us no Christmas card.
We have to call out Brandon for not sending Christmas cards, even though nobody else did either.
Even though, it's
just Roman Podcast did.
It's generally not a thing that podcasters do. It's not like we all set up. Well, maybe they do, and we're just not in it. It's not like they all set up secret Santas and mail each other things. But yeah, I was like, I knew they were sending it, but then it actually got here, and I was like, wow, they actually sent it.
Yep.
This is amazing.
I want to send stuff to people and be like, look, it's a biscuit. It's real.
It's a biscuit?
It's a real biscuit.
What?
Well, it is.
I like it.
Yep.
So send Melanie your email addresses or your home addresses.
Let me know where you live.
Tell Melanie where you live.
What could go wrong?
She'll send you a biscuit. A real biscuit. If you send a real biscuit to like Canada, it might be a little funky by the time it gets up there.
Well, you have to send it in a refrigerated container.
Wouldn't be flaky and fluffy and yeah.
I'm not gonna I'm gonna send them a tube. I'm gonna like a roll of them. I'm not gonna like bake them and send them to them. That's weird.
You're just gonna send them tubes of biscuits.
Pillsbury dough biscuit.
Be like, here's
that'll
what you
be
do.
more funky. Like that'll explode before it gets there.
Cook that and then put some butter on it. It's America.
Really?
Yeah.
I guess if it wasn't, it'd be like, we'd call it, I don't know, a crumpet or something.
We do have biscuits very different from the places that we came from because of what we have, an abundance of here that isn't there. I don't know if the Canadians got that from us too, or if they stayed with the old British ways of hard little nasty things that they call biscuits.
Yeah, I don't know. Tell us about your biscuits.
And gravy.
Show us your biscuits.
No, it was you who made me think of that with the biscuits and gravy story. When somebody's like, all like disturbed by the idea of biscuits and gravy.
I think that was like it might have been on a podcast, but I think it was a YouTube video. Yeah, somebody was disturbed by the concept of biscuits and gravy because they were British or something. And biscuits are what, like cookies or something?
Or something, yeah.
And they were like, why would you, biscuits and gravy? They were just disgusted by it.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, yeah.
It's like, well, nah,
that makes sense.
It's a little different. It's not quite...
There should be no one in the world who doesn't know the wonder of a biscuit.
And gravy.
Well, gravy helps, yes. But,
All right. So, you want to hear about my...
Let's hear all about
you.
Yeah.
Hear about
what about yours?
Okay, so I had said that I would like us to record commentary tracks, or at least a commentary track. And we did.
We did?
Me and Jesse recorded a commentary track for the pilot episode of the Spawn animated series.
Good job, guys.
Yeah.
And of course, I'd still like us to do more, but we at least did that one.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
If you want to show us some love on Patreon, anything that comes our way from our supporters goes towards the goal of doing more commentary tracks and stuff.
Yeah, that's one of our first goals, right?
Yeah, I think the live action Swamp Thing movie.
Yep.
And something like that would be all of us doing commentary track, and I think that'd be a good time.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
I haven't, but I've almost bought the Blu-ray of that movie several times in anticipation of that. Let's see. I said I was going to word correctly.
That worked out.
I was going to word right.
Oh, yeah.
Which I've already run into troubles this episode about it. And then, I just had to note that I don't think I really followed through on that one because we have an episode called Dot Your P's and Q's based on my incorrect wording.
Yeah,
Because that's not how letters work.
Nope.
but words are so many of them, and
English is a living language.
yeah.
Yeah, it is that.
Oh yeah.
And then these other ones, these actually, I'll just say this. Our 2015 New Year's resolutions, I actually did. So I don't feel too bad about these. But record an audio drama. I didn't really do that. The closest I did was that promo for...
Yeah, that's a fun promo.
Yes.
Have we played it yet?
But yeah, we played it the episode before last, and we might play it this episode then too. And like Melanie said, one of me was a good actor, one of me was a good actor.
Yeah.
Well, one of you, yeah.
But I kind of agree. Like, there's me talking to me, and one of me is a terrible actor, and the other one's okay.
Yeah. Well, good job to that one of you.
I agree. And then the other thing was produce a podcast that I don't personally host. Basically be a podcast producer that I'm not on, you know?
Instead, you were a network producer.
Yeah.
Like, way more than you probably ever anticipated this year.
Oh, man. That was like almost all this year was all the big Electronic Media Collective Podcast Network growth, huh?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because I think last year we had Fat Boy and Captain Llama and The Technology Geek and my show, and I think Survivalist Podcast popped in there around the same time.
Mm-hmm.
But I mean, it was like just a couple of us. And then this year, holy cow.
It's wrestlers, man. Wrestlers
Yeah.
started hitting us, and then
That is when it started. Like, we blew up when we brought on Pro Wrestling Iowa.
became a cage match or something. And it's just like everybody.
And then I think
Fighting for
Shotgun
the-
Wrestling Radio might have been next. But
Yeah.
then
And then marked out.
then it blew up. Yeah,
Mhm.
Marked Out Wrestling Podcast. And then it blew up,
Oh.
and we got all kinds of other shows.
Not a cage match, a Royal Rumble. That's what I meant. A Royal Rumble.
There you go.
Sure,
yeah.
sure.
Ah,
Cage
me and
match.
my wrestling euphemisms.
That's coming up. Royal Rumble. Goldberg's going to be in it.
Goldberg.
Now I feel like we can be on the network again because I talked about pro wrestling on the show.
It'd be crappy to get exiled from our own network because we didn't talk about
We're not
wrestling
pro
enough.
wrestling enough.
And we did the crossover episodes, and I kind of feel, I mean, you produced that episode, but Jesse hosted an episode of the crossover, the Electronic Media Collective crossover specials, and I feel like that was my producing an episode I wasn't on.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah, you
Me
did.
too. Me too.
I was at home and I did listen to it, though, and that was really weird listening to the episode. I totally could have been on it, but I was like, nope. I'm not on
You're
this
like,
one.
nope.
I'm not on
Hands
this
off.
one. Melanie,
Yes.
let's talk about you.
Okay.
Melanie said you wanted to do all the things. You wanted to do everything. You wanted to fix everything.
Yep.
Which included switch jobs, and you did.
Nah.
You're still with the same company, but you're doing a different job.
Yeah.
Move to a house.
Nope.
And organize Randy's crap.
I always organize your crap, but it doesn't stay that way. Or there's more crap that needs to be organized. It just happens.
I think we've had a shift in this household. My crap, for the most part, stays organized. Now you have your own set of crap. You have all new. Melanie has like all new crap this year that you have to
No,
organize.
it's not all new. It's just
You've gotten much more crafty. You're crafty, but much more crafty this year,
yeah.
and that's a good thing.
I guess I've
You've
gotten
been
more
painting
crafty.
portraits, pictures.
No, I'm not portraits.
Okay, maybe not portraits, but you've been painting pictures,
Mm-hmm.
and you've been making people awesome cards and all kinds of paper crafts all over the house.
Mm-hmm.
You've been making things. We have a nice key ring holder on the floor over there.
Yeah. Well,
I think it fell down. Yeah.
I got to figure out how to and where.
Yeah.
You know.
But you've done stuff. You just always shoot for the moon on these New Year's resolutions. You make it impossible for yourself. I'm sorry, did that get too real?
No,
that's what they're supposed to be, right? Like that's what you do.
I just don't recall that one. I just don't even recall that. Maybe I'm thinking of a New Year's. I don't remember last New Year's. I don't.
You didn't really give us, I mean, you said those things, but like you didn't give us like, I expected Grawlix related things or just like, fun podcast things. And you're like, everything. I want to fix everything.
Was I drunk?
No, you weren't
Okay.
drunk.
Okay.
And it wasn't emotional like that, but You were real about it.
Yeah.
You're like, too much. I was like, oh, okay.
Oh, well, I apologize. That sucks.
So, guys, we got a new year ahead of us.
Mm-hmm.
What New Year's resolutions did you walk into 2017 with?
I'm going to do nothing. None of it.
Just get a course correct.
See, this is the year, though, when things are going to be happening.
Now I'm going to avoid it all.
You're going to move into a house. You're going to organize Randy's crap.
I am going to organize Randy's crap. I always do a little bit at least.
You don't
Look
have
at that
to.
wonderful shelf.
You don't
We
have
have
to.
a shelf of cool stuff. Of Randy's cool stuff.
Let's step it back. You don't have to organize Randy's crap. Jesse, how about you? You have any goals or any things you want to do?
Kind of alluded to it. I want to bring back the Turning Cartwheels podcast, and I don't know. I'm pretty proud of 2016. So a lot of that was not predictable. So I'm kind of open to whatever's going to happen. But as far as like what I'd like to happen is I'd like to just kind of keep on this course of like just improving. And I'm excited about what we're going to do with the new format. So
Jesse's going to be a leaf in the wind.
yeah. And then I'm get stabbed through the heart by a spaceship.
Maybe.
Awesome.
That's what happens when you're a leaf on the wind.
It was a wash. I'm going to go to Time Eddy again, and they're going to have the 7th Doctor this year. So
nice.
I'm excited about whatever's going to go on there. So that'll be cool.
Running around with doctors.
Yeah. You guys should like take a look at that. We should make it a thing.
Yeah, we should.
Wait, which one?
Conventions. Time Eddy is a Doctor Who convention.
Okay.
It's in Wichita, so it's a drive, but everything there would be awesome.
Yeah, that's one aspect. This year we didn't hit like any convention.
But I did sit in on my very first podcast panel at a convention this year.
Oh yeah, that's right.
Like
nice.
That's another thing that was totally unplanned, not in the resolution cards, but happened.
You're a panelist.
I was a panelist.
Yeah.
I didn't say a whole lot, but and I was counterculture to a lot of it. Like, well, we do a 3-hour podcast, and we haven't really decided on our hosting, and at that time.
Oh no, 2017. Are we conforming to the norm?
No.
No.
No, I like both of you. So that made me feel better. You're both so confident. Like, no. What are you talking about?
No, we're doing it our way.
We've been talking like 40 minutes and haven't talked about a single comic book.
Yeah. Boom. Take that, standards.
Yeah, podcast wise, 2016 we definitely had some good stuff going on. I think we definitely had some high points. I want to double up on the Grawlix, but we already talked about that.
We're gonna double up. Oh,
Yeah,
I was like, you're gonna start cussing more. I don't get it.
double up. Is that me cussing?
On the Grawlix.
Twice the editing out of bad words.
Oh, twice the editing. I can't even imagine. I might as well just keep a collection of separate words and make new episodes out of it.
We need that Adobe software
I know.
stat.
Yep. What are we talking about this episode? I'll just type it up.
And then Jesse said, and then Mel said.
I kind of like the idea of presenting a podcast like that, where it's almost like there's a narrator, but then there's still like you guys quote unquote talking through this Adobe software.
Mhm.
I was just envisioning like you got Robert from the Roman Podcast to come on and just like narrate it.
Oh, that'd be
like
great.
Like a Christmas story kind of thing.
Yeah, that'd be awesome. You've got ideas kicking around in my head now. We're going to do something strange at some point.
Yes.
And then also, I didn't do a lot of music stuff last year. I have a couple music things.
Didn't you like put out an album?
I put out...
Stranger
it's like,
Things?
Yeah, Stranger, which was the Stranger Things kind of like, I guess, tribute maybe a little bit. It was 3 tracks. So I did put that out, but it wasn't like,
This was like a deluxe single is what you did.
Yeah, basically. But it wasn't a full thing. And I've still got tracks that I worked on with Louie that I'm sitting on that I wanted to put out last year that didn't happen, but it's still going to happen. But I'm putting together something. This is something I've wanted to do since last year, but I wasn't sure if I would just do it with one of my albums or if I should get other people and do like a compilation. But I'm putting together a compilation with the purpose of selling it and donating all the money that it makes to ACLU.
Yeah.
Because civil liberties is important, and
Yep.
I can't think of any other way I can help civil liberties issues other than something like that. So I've currently talking to some people online, and I'm not going through my usual like electronic musicians group route avenues. Right. It'll be kind of a different type thing. So I'm currently amassing some different musicians and artists that are interested in contributing tracks to that, who are into the cause.
I'm sold. So
that's something I'll be working on this year, and if that goes well, maybe I'll continue doing more of it. And so that's a goal I have. Anything else, guys? 2017 anythings?
Just that we aren't so hot on clowns anymore.
Yeah, clowns. Yeah. We're over it.
Yeah. That's so 2015.
There are too many clowns running around.
Yeah.
Clowns and mimes.
Scary clowns with power.
Clowns and suits. Hair pieces.
Weird.
I don't know how they all fit in that car.
Botched hair plugs. And...
It's so weird.
So weird.
So weird. They won't fly in planes. They will fly in other planes. They won't go to security briefings. Okay, yep. Let's go on.
There's been temptation to start another podcast, but I'm like, nope, I can't.
Yep.
I can't. My blood pressure can't do it.
Right.
And I don't know if that's something I could handle on the regular.
That would be a troll heaven.
Oh, I know.
And you would not be able to stop.
Yeah.
The most just things on the internet that don't have anything controversial. If you scroll down to the comments section, it's just a constant cesspool. It doesn't matter what the thing is, whether it's important, like politics, which is, important, or whether or not Suicide Squad was a good movie. People are just looking Pokemon Go. People are just looking for a reason to band into groups and then just fight the other groups without reason, like illogically go into other groups. It's really weird.
Humans are a warring species.
Yeah, well, they need to knock it off. 2017. Knock it off.
Speaking of, there's going to be a new Planet of the Apes movie. I'm excited.
The war.
It's the one where they actually go to war.
We still haven't seen the second new one.
Oh, it's good. You guys got to see that.
Yeah, we should.
It's on our list.
I think that one will actually be better than whatever this new one is, even though I'm still excited about it.
Yeah.
But the third movie's where it all falls apart, so,
Oh.
Still going to see it.
One final thing I'm going to touch on. Last year, we were like 2016. We're excited for new Twin Peaks. That's this year, isn't it? New Attack on Titan. That's this year, isn't it?
Yeah.
It wasn't.
No. Not this year. Yeah.
Those are both 2017 things.
Well.
If they started that way, I don't know. I don't think so.
I know Attack on Titan didn't. They kept pushing it and pushing it and pushing it.
So we're excited for those things still.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
2016 and clowns can't kill our excitement for Twin Peaks and Attack on Titan.
No.
Nothing can kill my excitement for a new Twin Peaks. How could anything? It's amazing.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't think you were that into it.
I like Twin Peaks. I really liked it.
Yeah.
It was creepy cool.
Yeah, for sure.
I love that.
We should talk about the pull list.
Yeah. Let's talk about what the show's about.
What is the pull list?
The pull list, every first episode of the month, we discuss a book as voted on by you, listener, and visitors to the website who may have never listened and decided just to vote. That's fine. You can suggest new books. You can vote on books that are on there. Anything that's on there that we haven't read, it stays on there until we read it.
All right. Taking a look at the poll list for next month, coming out of nowhere, Angela from the Spawn series.
It's his own.
Yeah, Marvel. Something interesting about Angela I knew nothing of.
Oh, you didn't know
I
who
knew
Angela was?
I kind of, but I really didn't know really much at all about it. There was a legal dispute over who owned the character, whether it was Todd McFarlane or Neil Gaiman.
Oh, interesting.
I think in the end, Neil Gaiman won the character, and then ended up selling it to Marvel.
Oh wow!
Yeah,
To Marvel or to Image?
to Marvel. Marvel has it. It's released.
Oh wow!
She's in the Marvel universe for some reason,
That's bizarre.
right?
Yeah,
Why would he do that?
I don't know. I'm not sure.
that's kind of a jerk move.
Yeah, it is.
I will do all kinds of research to find those answers and more.
Yes. I want like all kinds of random weird facts and historias.
Historias?
Yes.
Historias.
Historietas?
Yes. All those things.
But this month,
we read Thor, Goddess of Thunder, Volume 1, released by Marvel Comics. It collects Thor, the 2014 volume of Thor numbers 1 through 5, written by Jason Aaron, art by Russell Dodderman and Jorge Molina, cover also by Russell Dodderman. Here's a summary from Marvel.com. Mjolnir's harder to say when you're actually looking at the spelling because it's got the J in there.
yeah.
Mjolnir lies on the moon, unable to be lifted. Something dark has befallen the god of thunder, leaving him unworthy for the first time ever. But when frost giants invade Earth, the hammer will be lifted, and a mysterious woman will be transformed into an all-new version of the mighty Thor. Who is this new goddess of thunder? Not even Odin knows, but she may be Earth's only hope against the frost giants. Okay, so we talked a little bit about this last month when we said, here's what we're reading.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
What did you guys know about this going into it?
I knew that Thor was going to be a chick, and she was going to be named Thor still. That's about it.
Not Thorina or Thunder Pants?
Nope.
Thorita. Yeah. that was good. That was good.
Yeah, go ahead, Jesse.
I did know, like in this volume that we've read, it's not revealed who she is, but I know who she is. So that it's interesting because I've already had it spoiled for me.
Okay.
Kind of thing. Like reading this, there's certain parts that annoy me in this that don't annoy me because I know, but if I hadn't known, they would annoy me big time.
Okay.
And we'll get to that, I think. So like I enjoyed it. I thought it was fun overall. But yeah, there's parts where I was like, oh, well, because I know what I know, it's okay. But if I hadn't, I'd be really kind of annoyed.
Yeah. Okay, I got you. On principle, you could see it being.
Yeah. I don't know if you guys want me to spoil it for you later, but we'll get there.
Okay. I knew from following comic book news and different things and listening to podcasts, I didn't know, I didn't and still don't know who she is, who the character is, but I knew they had done this switch, but outside of that, I didn't really know anything. Mm-hmm. And like I said last episode, I was kind of excited though, because this is just something different for us, you know? I mean, it's a superhero book, but it's not like the average superhero book we get, where it's either like, you know, I don't think we've read outside of Bring On the Bad Guys anything Thor.
Mm-hmm.
No.
And yeah, so I was curious about it. What
are Mel's thoughts going into this, because she had a visceral reaction to it on the last episode?
I don't like it. I don't like. Maybe if they had handled it differently and there was some reason for me to know or care about this chick or her becoming Thor, maybe it would be different. But to me, it just seems like, oh, we want to switch things up. Let's shoehorn some chick in there and feminism. Woohoo! I don't like it. Not at all.
I understand if they cut an issue off of this, it'd have been too short for a trade. But I think it would have, for me, been a much stronger, and I'd have had a more favorable opinion of the book as a whole if it had ended one issue earlier. I
agree. The bad guy, I like that one. Bad guy was kind of cool.
Which one?
The rich guy that could turn into a minotaur.
Mm-hmm.
That was kind of cool. Other than that, oh, and I felt like Space Lab for a little bit in the beginning.
Yeah,
but
I don't know. I get you there. Yeah, me too.
But I don't like. I mean, I didn't like any of the Thor stuff really.
For the most part, I thought it was all right. I thought it was kind of fun. The art, I think, looks great.
Oh yeah.
I kind of do want to dive into the issue, the gender thing,
mm-hmm.
as much as that's asking for it. But I do want to dive into that a little bit as it becomes more relevant in the story. But I don't know how the whole thing, what they've done with Thor and the whisper, the whatever was whispered to him by Nick Fury.
Mm-hmm.
It was Nick Fury,
Yeah.
right?
That all happened in was it Fear Itself, and that is when I kind of dropped off on Marvel. And I am, I'm the Marvel guy out of the three of us, but that's when I was kind of like, I don't know if I care anymore.
I like the concept of that. Of, whatever Nick Fury apparently had gotten some, knowledge from, is it the Watcher in Marvel?
Yes,
Okay.
yeah. The Watcher is killed in Fear Itself, or it's not Fear Itself. I don't know. Whatever the event was, the Watcher is killed, and somebody has his eye, and it's this whole whodunit, like who killed the Watcher, and then all these things come to light, and yeah.
So I like the idea that there was something that could be whispered to Thor that just by Thor hearing it makes him unworthy.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
I thought that was a cool concept. I think it's interesting that he was so shattered that he can't lift the hammer.
I feel like it's like a Green Lantern thing. Like suddenly he doesn't have that one core, or whatever it is, that allows him to hold the hammer. It's suddenly gone because, like with Green Lantern, it's will. Like, you broke his will, now he can't wield the ring or something.
And not being super familiar with the comic book world of that Thor kind of, I mean, it's Marvel Universe, but without being super familiar with Asgard or Asgardia and all that stuff, I feel the book did a fine job at filling you in on at least the basics of what you need to know. That sets up this whole Odin, all father, all mother kind of power struggle, I guess. Without feeling too exposition-y. Like, it pretty much tells you, like, Odin shows up and it's like, oh, he hasn't been around, and this and that and this and that, and they kind of get through it quick enough where you're like, okay, I understand the general situation. So as a new reader, I thought that was handled okay.
I was a little disappointed in Odin because I have read some Thor in the past, and he's kind of laughable in this. Like, I don't know. I didn't know how to take this version of Odin.
He was definitely super bullheaded and very one-sided.
Yeah, and like I wasn't convinced. Like, he's the All-Father, he's all powerful, but he just kind of felt like a stubborn old coot.
Okay.
Yep, he's the conservative in the room.
Yeah.
No, I kind of felt that way too, but not having read a lot, I was like, well, maybe that's just comic book Odin.
It is, but it just felt like it was dialed up to 11.
Now, they did just jump super quick to, like, suddenly, I was a little unclear on when Thor finally leaves the moon. It's like everybody's put on alert, and it seems like they all go back to Asgard or Asgardia to prepare for possible war against frost giants. But Thor goes straight back to Earth, where the frost giants actually are. So I was a little unclear on what the deal with that was. Well, he doesn't go straight to Earth, does he? He goes and gets an axe.
Right.
But he goes to Earth to Sea Lab 2021. And I did enjoy how they set up the frost giants being there under the ocean. Spoilers, by the way, just in general on this book.
Yeah.
You should know this, but if you're a new listener, we spoil everything. It was ominous. I like the setup of, like, it's like mountain range sized something weird under there, and with the little submarine. So I enjoyed that. That kind of pulled me into it.
Yep. That whole thing was good. Several things popped in my head.
Yeah?
Yeah, what was that? The Deep, and Mermaiders, and all kinds of awesome things.
Yeah.
Swimming around in there.
And so it turns out it's frost giants under there. What's the elfy guy?
Malekith?
Yeah. And so he shows up and is
burns
looking
people's faces off.
Yeah, just willy-nilly burns a couple faces off, and
So did you guys know that was or maybe you haven't even seen Thor 2?
We did, but I did not connect it as
Yeah, because the portrayal's totally different.
That's who Eccleston played, right?
Yep.
In Thor 2. If you even remember Eccleston in it.
Was the Dark Elf that's in this.
Maybe?
I honestly don't remember a whole lot of Thor 2 other than all the kind of cool action set piece with the portals, jumping through the portals.
Sure.
But I don't remember much of the plot at all. Oh, and Natalie Portman had got some stuff on her or something weird. She was sick.
Some, like, red dust from some weird place. That's magic.
Yeah. She got magic opium on her.
Magic opium?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And magic Mars opium, and
It made her sleep.
yeah. Well, of course.
What else would I do? Yeah.
Those
No,
Mars
sorry,
dogs.
sorry, not to totally derail things, but yeah, I think most people will recognize Malekith as the main baddie from the second Thor movie, if they recognize him at all.
But yeah, he was cool. His look is unusual. At first, I liked it. Then I was like looking at him. I was like, I don't know. It just seems like too much. It's too much.
Yeah.
His face is gaudy. He's looking for a thing, and it turns out they're looking for Frost Giant's former king's skull, because that's what keeps their stuff cold. Planet or whatever realm.
Is that what it was? I thought it was just that they wanted to resurrect their king.
Well, it was something to do with part of the motivation was that it's like their kingdom was warming up. Ooh,
Right.
Maybe it was warming up globally. Their kingdom was like warming up, and so the warmer it got, the less powerful they are. And they felt if maybe it is they wanted to resurrect their king, but they felt that would bring the cold winds back, which would make everything cold and hard and strong again.
Yeah.
Make ice frost giants great again.
Great again, yeah.
Can't help it.
Winter's coming.
Yeah, yeah.
Well, they wanted.
Well, they wanted it to.
Yeah.
And then Thor shows up and loses an arm.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, like right off the bat, like boom.
Yeah, there's not much of a fight there. Like he showed, there's a little bit of a fight, but basically frost giants show up right as Thor's gonna fight this dude.
He didn't even get like a Luke and Vader moment. He didn't even get like a Luke, I am your father, chop your hand off thing.
It was very unceremonial.
Yeah.
Just kind of happened, and if you weren't really paying that close of attention, you wouldn't even noticed until the elf's standing there holding the arm.
I actually forgot, and then later on, he's got the arm like draped over his shoulder, and I'm like, "What the heck is that?"
He
like,
kept that for
oh,
days.
that's right.
What kind
That's
of
what that is.
weirdo keeps somebody's arm for days and days just to like have it around? That's weird.
I guess I do have slight problems. I have slight problem with the passage of time is very unclear.
Yeah.
Because it felt like Thor went to Earth, everybody left the moon, somebody shows up at the end of, I think it's the first issue, and picks up the hammer. Turns out it's this goddess, this new Thor. The hammer gives her the suit and all this stuff. The hammer basically just gives her the power, except she was standing on the moon.
I just like how they try to make you think it's his mom too. I'm like, yeah, I'm not buying that right away.
No, it was pretty clear.
Yeah.
It wasn't.
It was obviously a red herring or whatever that's called.
That's where some of the time passing, because it feels like then she goes right to...
She went directly to Earth.
Directly to Earth to fight. But at that point, a bunch of people were frozen, and we find out towards the end of the book that also Thor's mom was one of them, frozen in there.
Mm-hmm.
So, but I was like, when did she even go to Earth? Like, why was she there?
And that was after he had gotten his arm cut off.
Yeah. There's some of this a little sketchy. I'm just a little sketchy on like the flow of when things happened and stuff.
Yeah, and then he shows up like later that same day, but he had been sleeping for maybe it was only a couple hours. I don't know.
When he shows up, he had his arm too.
No, he had a new arm.
Yeah. No. Yeah. I'm sorry. That's what I meant. The
Yeah.
new like metal arm. Well, I guess that's not that important, the passage of time, but it does feel a little off reading it.
Mm-hmm.
So she goes down there. I liked her fighting the frost giants. I don't know how much I liked the voice they gave the character, like her inner monologue, but I did enjoy the fact that she had an inner monologue. You read how she thinks things, but then how it comes out is all Thorized.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I thought that was interesting. And at first I was like, word bubble, like thought bubbles? Like,
Yeah.
no,
we
who
haven't
does
seen that in years.
Yeah,
What?
nobody does that anymore.
For a second, I was like, is that supposed to be her or the hammer thinking those things? Because,
Oh, yeah.
but if obviously it was her doing both. Does Thor normally have multiple personalities, or is that new?
I interpreted it as...
Sort of.
Oh, really?
Well, I mean, like, if you go back to the Donald Blake era, you have Donald Blake, Dr. Donald Blake, who's lame, and then he he'll transform into Thor when he, brings his walking cane down, and then transforms him into Thor with the hammer.
He's like, I have the power! And then yeah.
And then they kind of did away with that, and he's just Thor. And so this is kind of almost like coming back to that. That's where knowing who this is problematic for this review, because if I didn't know who it was, I would have a totally different opinion about it. But like knowing who it is, I can kind of forgive some of this. But that's not how it was presented initially.
Not knowing who this is, I was annoyed by, and if they're trying to do a mystery, I understand, but the story and the character both intentionally not giving us, the reader at least, information, just for the fact that the writer doesn't want us to know yet, that it's supposed to be a secret. There's no real reason that we can hear her thoughts. There's no real reason that they're hiding their identity from us, other than the fact that, you know, they don't want us to know yet. It's supposed to be
they're
secret.
drawing it out.
Yeah.
Well, along those same lines, I mean, like if we're going to kind of stick on this point for a second, like when she comes in contact with him, when they do meet up and he's got the new arm and everything, and he's not having it. And he's like, just tell me, are you my mom? And then Lady Thor just totally like kisses him on the mouth.
Yeah.
It was like, would your mom do that? And I was like, okay, I know who it is. It makes sense in character, but at this point, no one's supposed to know who it is. And this just seems silly.
Okay, good. So if you know who she is, that seems less silly.
It's fine. It's fine if you know who it is, but because there's a history there and everybody knows this history, but without knowing, I mean, I feel like I'm giving it away right now just saying that, but like not knowing that, you're just like, what?
Okay, so
I feel like Lady Thor loses credibility in that moment.
Yeah.
Like I'm like, if and they try to, like later on, they try to kind of backtrack it and say, well, you know, they try to play the feminist whole thing, and it's like, yeah, I was frustrated by it.
That moment led up to a pretty decent little laugh. I like, you know, him saying, well, I certainly, would your mother do this? And him saying, I certainly hope not. That's a fine laugh. I like that. But
sure,
I 100%, not knowing who it is, I 100% agree. It did feel like it was a step back for her. It's like, why did she kiss him? Like, and
it's not like knowing who it is. It all makes sense and it's fine. And it is it is almost feminist in that she chose to do that and she has this history with him, but we don't know that as the reader. So it just steals everything away. Like I feel like it suddenly makes her second fiddle to him all of a sudden, even though this is her coming out party in this volume.
What were you going to say, Melanie?
Nothing.
What do you think about this kiss?
I thought it was ridiculous. Almost as ridiculous as the one that he being like, I'm gonna go for girl power. And
we're gonna get
myself
there.
Up.
Oh yeah, we have to spend some time on that.
Yeah,
God, what a piece of crap.
That's the one thing that really bugged me about this, because for the most part, okay, I'll say I liked it up until a certain point, and then that point didn't ruin the whole thing for me. But I was like feeling really good after issue 4, because this collects 5 issues. After issue 4, I was feeling really good.
Yeah.
Issue 5 kind of wiped its butt on me a little bit, and I was not feeling so good. Mm-hmm. It's a weird way to put it, I guess, but I regret that slightly. It crapped the bed, is what I'm trying to say, but it
with you in it.
With me in it, and I was in that bed.
Yep.
Respectfully.
Oh, man.
Just keeping it on my side.
We're gonna burn that bed.
Yeah, that bed's ruined. You ever seen Thor crap? So...
You will.
What happens next? I like the fighting the frost giants. Okay, so we already mentioned Thor shows up. He's got a fancy arm. It's like a human arm, except they put metal texture on it, basically. You know,
but it's made out of the same metal as the hammer.
Yeah, the Uru.
The Uru.
But Thor shows up and he is mad that this woman is masquerading as Thor and has his hammer. Mm-hmm. But he gets over that pretty quick.
She's like, stop, hammer time.
It's one of those things where it's like, okay, so he's mad. Okay, I guess I get it. But he's irrationally mad to where she's like, over and over, like, we should be fighting the frost giants. Instead, you're just fighting me. Yeah. Like, we have villains all around us. What are you doing? So that's a little frustrating. But
it's sexist. Men being all irrational and moody.
True.
You're not always that way.
The men in this book are irrational and moody, and I feel marginalized. No, they play that really hard on Odin with the whole Odin thing, though, for sure.
Yeah.
Once he sees the hammer doing crazy things that it's never done for him, he gets over it. He's like, oh, well.
He's like, whoa, I don't know how to do that.
It's like,
Show me that trick.
I guess the hammer's moved on. And he gets.
But he takes the breakup really well, really quickly.
Yeah, he turns quick.
Like he's been pining for it nonstop since this issue starts, and presumably before this issue. But suddenly he's okay with it.
Not only that, he's like, here, take my name too.
Yeah, he's like, you deserve Thor. Yeah, I'll just be the Odin son.
I don't need a name anymore.
He doesn't even have his own name.
Nope.
The son of Odin. Odin gets a name, but he doesn't get a name.
Yeah.
But there's also, okay, we didn't even talk about this Minotaur guy that you mentioned, who looks like a person most of the time, but he can turn into a Minotaur. And
working for Roxxon.
Roxxon, okay.
Roxxon,
That's what it is. I kept thinking Roblox, and I'm like, I know that's not what it is, but...
I think this guy just got picked for Secretary of State? No, I'm thinking something else.
Oh,
so...
No, this guy is more rational.
Nice. So this guy is like, I mean, the character's not himself isn't amazing, but I kind of like what this guy is. He's like literally evil CEO, like he's super rich CEO guy of this company to where, you know, something goes wrong and he's like, you know, what was he like? Turn on the sulfuric acid sprinklers and the cyanide.
Yeah.
Terminate those employees.
Yeah.
You don't have clearance for this.
Yeah.
Amanda Waller.
Yeah, I mean, he's like Amanda Waller amped up to 11,
Yeah.
she was at 10 and a half, I guess, so.
But she was just cold about it. He was kind of snarky.
But he is in possession of this thing. He come across it, the skull.
Yeah.
And so him and the elf.
The dark elf?
Yeah.
Malekith.
Yeah, they're fighting a bit, and then Thor are fighting a bit, and then Thor's and the Frost Giants are fighting. There's some good Frost Giant violence. They get around some pretty extreme violence, given that they're basically like giants made out of ice. At one point, she's like flying around with half a jaw in her hand, knocking these guys out.
Oh, yeah, because she loses the hammer. Like, she can't even get through her first story arc without losing the hammer.
Which I don't understand, because you're just like, I can't wrestle, but, you know, and then it comes to you, so.
But it was stuck in that room.
Oh.
And it couldn't get through the door.
Yeah, that's true.
The super, like, adamantium, old onatanium.
Onatanium, yeah.
Crazy room.
But she's seen Indiana Jones, I'm sure. You just find a skull or something like that and shove it in there real quick.
But the skull was in the room, that's the problem.
Oh, you're right, yeah.
No, she ended up just ripping it open with her hands. Yeah. But, you know, she had to stop
just in the nick of time.
She had to stop getting spit on by the Frost Giants first.
Yeah, right. Sub-Zero loogies.
Yep.
Finish her. Spitality.
I think they used the wrong giants, because if you look at the perspectives going on, when they first came up from the deep, that giant's foot was like the size of several houses probably, and I'm pretty sure the ones they fought later weren't that big.
No, I agree that their sizes were somewhat inconsistent. Well, like the one when the elf was talking to the elf was like smaller than a spoon on the guy's table. But then that guy even shows up later at the thing, and, you know, people are still pretty small comparatively, but the scale's off. But, you know, it's whatever they need to fill the space, I guess.
Yeah, I guess. Global warming, maybe they're shrinking.
That's what it is.
Yep.
Frost giant warming.
Do they have, like, some weird opposite Bifrost thing that they slide across into the center of the Earth?
Huh?
To come up from the ocean?
Yeah, I don't know. Why were they in the ocean?
It's a good question. I don't know either.
Because they weren't in the ocean when Malekith, like, first comes to them. They were on their regular plane, or whatever it's called. And then all of a sudden they're in Midgard, a.k.a. the Earth, and they come from the deep.
The deep. Yeah, I don't know. They just wanted to do a sea lab scene.
Yeah, well, I don't blame them. They had attack sharks. That was pretty awesome.
They did have attack sharks.
That was awesome.
Yeah, for sure. Also, all the Avengers were frozen in that ice.
Mm-hmm.
I thought that was weird.
Yeah, a little
Yeah.
bit.
I feel like there was a crossover issue we missed somewhere.
It does feel like that.
But maybe not. Maybe they just were like, this is how bad it was.
I don't know that it was a crossover, but I do recall them being like, see episode or issue 25 of something, something, something.
Yeah,
Oh.
yeah, you're right. You're
Mhm.
right. I think there was at least 2 like editor's notes like that referencing other books. One of the Thors smashes the skull. This and that. Turns out it wasn't the real skull. Let's wrap this thing up. And it feels like the end of the 4th issue feels like a solid place to end.
It was a good siege story,
Yeah,
basically.
Yeah. Yeah, I liked it. It was fun. There was some plot holes, but you didn't really, you're reading it. You're just like, okay, well, moving on. There's frost giants
Mm-hmm.
and stuff.
It's like a origin without being an origin. Like boom, we just get a new Thor. We don't have to know how or why yet. Like we just get it, and we get to see them on the fly trying to adapt.
That's a good point. It was good at just like the end of one issue, all of a sudden somebody picks up the hammer, and the next issue they're beating up frost giants. Like they just right into it.
Oh, I did have a conniption with that a little bit.
Yeah.
Mainly because it feels like that's the way modern storytelling works right now, especially in Marvel. Like the first issue, they're going to go ahead and put Lady Thor's face on the cover, and yet we don't actually get her at all in the first issue.
Yeah,
Do
yeah.
we? I mean, like I don't think we get her at all.
No, you see like a hand.
Yeah,
Maybe,
and then
maybe you get a splash page at the end, but I'm kind of thinking you don't.
I don't think so. I mean, I'm going to look real quick because I need to know now. But oh yeah, no, you just get a hand and you get the hammer raised. Oh yeah. I guess you do get to see her. That's it though. Like you don't know who it is or whatever. It's just like, okay, hammer, and then there she is. And that's what you get. Issue 1, you get that. Someone raised the hammer and you have a new Thor. That's it. She doesn't do anything. She doesn't say anything. She just picks up a hammer.
Mm-hmm.
And I feel like that's how Marvel does things now. Is like right now there's the infamous Iron Man title that's out, and the whole first issue is about basically the last page or whatever. You've got Doctor Doom saying, "I've decided I'm going to be Iron Man," and that's how they end the first issue. It's like you're on the cover as Iron Man. Like that's the whole point of this title. You didn't need this first issue hardly at all, except to give us a little bit of backstory. So can we just get on with it?
We don't know who she is yet. Haven't seen her be a normal person really. But
Right.
why'd she gotta get like nasty butchy when she becomes Thor? She's like, I mean, I didn't see her in a bikini, but I'm pretty sure nobody would want to see her in a bikini from the way her muscles were all ripply on her arms. Ugh. Why can't she just be, a normal person that has superpowers instead of making her into like freaking Lucy Lawless horse trank lady,
Horse drink lady.
or or not. What am I thinking about?
But basically, she became like She-Hulk or something.
Or, yeah,
Xena, horse drink princess.
I'm thinking of from In Living Color. You remember that Jim Carrey used to play
Vera.
Yeah.
Oh, I don't remember that.
Oh well,
Man.
you should watch it.
Okay.
That's who I'm channeling here.
She was pretty beefy.
Why she gotta be like that?
Okay, so then we go to the next issue.
Issue 5.
And we get a little bit of a Thor on Earth. Oh, also the Spider-Man thing. I don't remember if that was I think that was issue 4, where he's like, just Thor, not Thorita or Thunderpants or whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm torn on some of that. Like,
I think that was
They were kind of calling back to all the other times that we had a new Thor, and I thought it was a little bit funny.
Okay.
Because Lady Thunderstrike was a guy that took over for Thor for a while. In fact, he even masqueraded as Thor for a little while, and he had like a mask very similar to the mask that Lady Thor has when he was pretending to be Thor.
Why do they got to wear masks? Why can't people just know?
Well, they kept asking her why the mask.
Yeah.
Because Thor doesn't wear no mask.
Yeah, this isn't like Gotham or something where the police and the mobs are gonna come after you.
But she doesn't want anybody to know for reasons.
Mm-hmm.
Or the hammer doesn't want anybody to know because the hammer gave her the armor, kind of.
What if that hammer is drunken And it's just like, I'm gonna mess with these guys so hard. I'm gonna go pick this chick, and everybody's gonna be like, "Oh, that's ridiculous."
So Milner walks into a bar.
Milner's trolling everybody.
Yep.
Okay, so issue 5 is where this whole thing really bugs me. This is where, so we just get a little snippet of her like on Earth fighting some crime, doing the superhero thing, and she's fighting this dude. I don't even remember who he
Crusher
is.
Creel, absorbing man.
She's beating the crap out of this guy. He was robbing something, and then a female villain shows up. It's, I'm guessing, his girlfriend or wife or whatever.
Titania, yeah.
And it's cringy to me.
Yeah.
Anyway, this woman ends up, she's like, I'm not gonna fight you. We turn ourselves in. It's all right, you know.
Well, first she knocks out Crusher Creel.
Oh yeah.
Titania, like she's like, no, hold on, I got this. And then she like spins his ball and chain around and like knocks him out with it so that she can have this moment with Lady Thor.
She's abusive.
That is abusive.
He doesn't have to put up that, you know.
Yeah. I get it's Thor's before bros. There's only one other way I could go with that. That doesn't work.
Yeah.
So exactly. She knocks out the guy and then has this moment where she's like, you know, I'm not going to fight you. I appreciate what you're doing. This is a one-time deal. You know, one-time girl. You're not going to get another girl power one deal, but she's like, you can take us in. I give up. Just because you're a woman.
And
I respect what you're doing. Yeah.
I respect you being a woman.
That has superpowers, that was able to pick up a sword, or not a sword, a freaking hammer that magically transforms you. I respect that.
What, the respecting?
I respected her all the way up until this point. Like they didn't have to beat us over the head with it.
And she still punched her out.
It really bugged me. Like that one thing soured me on this whole thing a bit, because I didn't mind the all-father, all-mother kind of power struggle, even though Odin did seem overly stubborn and meat-headed.
Yeah.
But, you know, I think that's
almost bordering on cartoonish, you know?
Yeah. Mm-hmm. And then the fact that he was so upset that this woman had taken Thor's name, because that was a big thing, this woman. Mm-hmm. Okay, that's fine. Run with that story. And I don't mind that it's a woman that picked up the hammer and all this. But this scene was like, to me, I was like, don't be like, we made our male superhero a female. We're so progressive. Look at us. We're so forward thinking. Look at us. Like they're parading it. They turned it into like a joke. Like it becomes a novelty. You're like, oh, you're right. This is just a novelty. I see what you're doing. Is kind of the way it feels. Like, it's fine that they do it, then just tell a good story. You don't have to make a big deal about it.
Mm-hmm. And I'm pretty sure I heard the phrase knowing your place or something similar several times. And that's just to antagonize us. Or me. Whatever. Antagonize me.
How did you feel about this, Melanie, as our resident woman?
I already told you how I felt about it.
Oh.
I don't like it. Not at all.
Yeah, it really bugged me. And I felt bad because I was like, how can I talk about this on the show without sounding like one of those jerks that runs female comic book writers off of Twitter?
Like a Gamergate guy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, because they keep doing it stupid. If they wanted to do it right, then first of all, I mean, I don't know, because I don't read Thor, and maybe she's great if you know who she is, but I don't know who she is. And I don't give a crap who she is right now, because I don't know who she is. You know, there's nothing to draw me to her to make me think that she is a good choice as a superhero. To me, it's them just putting Thor in a skirt. It's not anything. Make me care about a character and think, hey, she would be a good Thor, and then make her Thor, and then maybe it would matter.
It felt like that scene. It didn't feel. I know what it's supposed to be. It's supposed to be like a celebration of like. Oh no, I don't even know what it was supposed to be, but it was
vaginas?
It's a celebration of like a woman can be Thor too. But first off, we didn't need that specific thing.
No, we saw it.
And
we know it.
Yeah,
at
exactly.
this point. 4 issues, and we know that she can be Thor. She is Thor. Even Thor said she's Thor. So why do we need a 5th issue just to tell us that again?
Yeah,
Ham-fisted way.
ham-fisted way. Yes.
Once he can't pick up the hammer, and they're like, somebody needs to pick up the hammer. Then couldn't it be anybody? Couldn't it be a bunny rabbit? I mean.
Oh, it has been we've got like a frog Thor, and we've got all sorts of Thors.
I don't know. I'm just saying.
Well, then did someone come up to the frog Thor and be like, I get it. I get what you're doing. I'm going to turn myself over.
I'm really proud of what you have accomplished as a frog.
This is a big deal. And yeah, you take me to jail, frog Thor.
Yeah. Knock me out.
But first, let me kiss you and turn you back into a prince.
Yeah, so between that, the kiss kind of rubbed me the wrong way. That was just like
so do you guys want me to give you the reveal, or do you want
I'm
it
down.
to remain?
I probably will not read more.
Yeah, me either.
Okay, so who is Lady Thor? And this is the clever part, but we probably needed it sooner. It's Jane Foster.
Who's Jane Foster?
Natalie Portman. I mean, in the comics, you've got a lot more history between the two characters, but basically, suffice it to say that Jane Foster was a love interest of Thor at one point, but that's not really the interesting part about Lady Thor. The interesting part about Lady Thor is Jane Foster also has cancer.
Oh,
okay.
And so becoming Thor is like giving her some of her strength back, but at the same time, the more that she uses the hammer, the more it weakens her in her human form. So she's spending more time as Thor.
So they'll be able to kill her off quicker to make the regular Thor come back.
Yeah, when they're in the process of doing the unworthy Thor. So you've got Odin's son has his own title, and they're running concurrently. And I don't know. I imagine at the end of this whole thing, it's probably going to revert back to status quo. But I mean, I think it's a clever idea. And knowing that Thor has a history with her and that they were romantically entwined, it's like, okay, the kiss makes more sense now, but I didn't know that. I wasn't supposed to know that when I read it. And maybe that was just supposed to be a big hint, but I don't know. It's got to make sense. And it didn't.
She's blonde. And so I didn't guess that.
And she's not blonde. I don't think Jane Foster is blonde in the books either. Just like as soon as she becomes a Norse god, blonde hair, blue eyes.
Mm-hmm. And she's human, so that's more interesting to me than her being a chick or a brunette, really.
Yeah, there was an interesting little interplay.
If I'm like, I got magical powers, then I'd be like, oh, and I'm a freaking blonde. Are you serious?
and I'm only not dying when I'm a god.
Yeah, that part. Yeah. Well, but it makes it worse later. So I don't know. I'd probably be like, that's okay.
And I think she's supposed to be like pretty far along to like stage 4 or something.
You're like, try to take this hammer from me.
Right.
Come and try to get the hammer. Cancer.
So I mean, I don't know how to feel about it. It's like it's good writing, but at the same time, like, now are you just doubling down on two things that we should feel? I don't know. Like, are you playing with emotions too much at this point?
All right, so then I don't know. It ends.
Sort of. You know what it was kind of like? It was like if they had made, what is that? Freaking The Lord of the Rings, the last movie of The Lord of the Rings, except after the one ending, none of them were endings. It was just more stuff.
Right.
Where bad guys come up and turn themselves in because I appreciate what you're doing.
Yeah.
You're a hobbit.
And then Thor's mom just shows up and is like, I appreciate what you're doing too.
Yeah.
And then Odin's son walks into a bar and Lady Sif is like, we used to date and I still hate you because of that.
Yeah. Overall, what'd you guys think? I know we've kind of said various things, but like, what final thoughts on it?
If it wasn't for the socio-political stuff, I would rate it a much higher. At this point, I can only give it middle of the road, even though I enjoyed it for the most part. If I were going to give this like a number of stars, I'd have to give it like 3
out of
Out of 5, because it could have been more fun. I mean, like I could have said, okay, this is worth a 4 because that first story arc's pretty fun overall.
I'd give it a
But-
2 myself
You give it a 2?
because the only things that I liked were C-Lab and that stuff. So if I could have all the C-Lab nonsense in the Minotaur guy and all that fun jazz without the whole, like Thor thing, then it would have been
Take Thor out, and you've got a winner.
Yeah.
Totally take him out, yeah.
Are we doing
Or her,
star
or
ratings now?
both.
Are we doing star ratings now?
I don't know.
I don't
That's
know.
all I could. That's the only way I could like throw it in
I
contest.
gotcha.
We shouldn't do stars though. If we're gonna do something, we should do
Milners. I give it a 3 out of 5 Milners.
what's Milner?
The hammer.
Oh,
It
that
can change
works.
each time.
Yeah, I like it.
I'm actually I'm totally just echo what Jesse said. And I'd agree with you, Melanie. Like the C-Lab stuff was awesome. I liked the fighting the frost giants. I thought the frost giant stuff was kind of interesting. Oh man, they're dumb. Like they're all dumb.
Yeah.
That made it kind of fun. I liked the evil CEO guy. I liked the threats that the elf would throw out.
Mhm.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm with Jesse. Like I could have got on board with like if it ended one issue earlier, I could overlook some of the little things that kind of bugged me and just be like, this was a fun, like solid, fun book. Like I didn't feel like I got a whole lot of like deep enthralling story or amazing character work, but it was a fun book, good like action and crazy stuff. I could have got behind like a 4, but that last issue really drug it down, and it kind of made the little things that bugged me in the previous issues a little bit more glaring. Yeah, I'd go 3. Man, I was mad. I tweeted about it. Not specific. I didn't call out what it was, but I wrote tweets. So I was kind of mad afterwards.
You had a visceral reaction, yeah.
And if that means anything, it's sending tweets means something.
Mean tweets at Thor.
Me tweets at Thor. Okay, yeah, I'll go 3. I'll go solid 3 with a note that it should have been better. It should have been higher, but 3 Mjolnirs. Mjolnirs.
I don't think it's fair that we can say it should have been better because I could say that about everything. Everything should have been better.
No, but I mean, it was good until it took a nosedive.
Right.
Yeah, it's like the break in the volume. If they had, for the sake of the volume, just ended it at issue 4, I'd give it a 4, no problem. But that 5th issue really was so throwaway.
Like, it was breezy fun, you know?
So do you think they the writers, like the writers and the artists, let's say, think they sat down, they made 4, and then the executive type people that own all that are like, no, you need one more, and make sure you drive home this and this and this until you like beat them in the head with it till they bleeding.
I think
Jason Aaron is a pretty good writer overall. I think over the long haul, like the long game is probably stronger. You know, like knowing that about Jane Foster, like knowing all this stuff a couple volumes down the road probably helps this volume out a lot, but you don't get any of it. Not in this volume. We don't have any of that. So with Jason Aaron, we have to play a long game to get what's good about this. And we didn't get it. We didn't get the long game in this first volume.
Yeah, I didn't get it.
well, and I know that when they write a series, if they know they're gonna have time, I think, you know, they write arcs knowing how they usually get collected into trades.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm wondering if like it was a case of we have this specific arc, but we don't want to stretch it out to 4 issues or to 5 issues, or if it's like intentional. Here's a solid arc to fill out most of the book, and then one more story to get that hook to get them to come back for the next trade or jump on to issue 6.
But there wasn't really much of a hook. It didn't seem like.
But it set up the conflict going. Ooh, hold on.
Well, the Destroyer,
Yeah,
that's a pretty big hook.
and it set up the conflict of like now they're after Thor. You know, Odin's after Thor and all this. It's not. Whereas the end of issue 4, like they hadn't resolved it, but it felt more like, oh, okay, everything's good. And then the next issue is like, no, there's conflict to come.
Mm-hmm.
You know, so
Like unleashing the Destroyer at the end is almost it's almost like saying at the end of the movie, like, okay, it's gotten so bad that we've called in Juggernaut to help us out. kind of thing. I mean, like that's the kind of story beat that they're ending on. And so like it's not a bad cliffhanger, but the issue itself was throwaway up until that point.
Okay, would you recommend it?
Yeah, no.
You always ask to
No.
the average comic book person who's going to read a comic book.
No.
Not
But
your-
because I didn't enjoy it, and I'm not going to
Okay.
endorse something I didn't enjoy.
Okay.
I think I need to read more to see where this is headed before I could say, yeah. But based on this first volume, I wouldn't necessarily recommend it. No.
Yeah, I would. If somebody said they were going to read it, I'd be like, oh, well, it's not bad. But I don't think I'd recommend it just because I think I could think of better things. I mean, you could always say that, but if I looked at this and then thought maybe there's something else they could read, I'd opt for something else.
I would probably go like, hey, you should check out Faith.
Oh, yeah,
should
there you
check
go.
something else. And, like that's an original character that is doing great things.
An original character? Oh my god.
An original
I know,
woman
weird.
character. Not a male superhero turned into a woman or a sidekick.
Nothing derivative, just straight up new character.
Wow. It makes me have faith in the comics industry for the future.
Boy. Faith.
Melanie,
Oh my goodness, with the puns.
busting a pun. It is a new year.
Oh, yes, it is.
This is Randy from in the future, and I have a very important message for you. The Grawlix podcast is missing something, and that something is you. Join our letters page segment. If you have thoughts on what we're reading, what we just read, what we're about to read, what you're reading, or you just want to say hi, send us an email to letters@grawlixpodcast.com, and we'll read and discuss your letter on the show. What the devil? What are you doing here? Hey folks, this is Randy from further in the future. And what my former self neglected to mention is we also have a Google Voice line. You can call it, leave a message, and we will play that message on the next episode of the Grawlix podcast. Try to keep it under 2 minutes. Whatever you want to talk to us about it. Ideally, something related to the show. Dial 559-426-6427, or if this helps you remember, 559-4-COMICS. Type that into your phone, you'll be connected to our voicemail, leave us a message, and we will play it on the show. This is getting ridiculous. Get out of my way, get out of my way. This is Randy from even further in the future. And what these two knuckleheads neglected to mention is if you'd rather send us an MP3 recording of yourself to play on the show, you can hit that email. Again, that's letters@grawlixpodcast.com with an MP3 attachment, and we'll play it during the show. Just try to keep your language clean and keep it under 2 minutes. Also, hey Bonehead, did you just shoot our younger self? Yeah, it's cool. Shouldn't we be doing the Marty McFly disappear from the picture act right now? No, it's fine. He was a time remnant. Oh, a time. That doesn't make sense. A time remnant doesn't make sense. At some point, older Randy has to travel back to talk to younger Randy. But if older Randy kills younger Randy never gets to become older Randy and travel back in time. It's time travel, not cloning. We're not cloning and sending ourselves back. We're just time traveling. You don't know that. We could be operating on primer rules. In that case, there can only be one. What are we talking about next episode?
We're talking about The Invisibles.
Yeah, the Grant Morrison story that we've been teasing you for a while.
New format, old content. We're putting old content to rest in a new format.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
We've been teasing Invisibles for a while, so we're going to read that and talk about that. That episode will be out in 2 weeks. It'll be the third Monday of the month.
I need to get out. I need to get crack-a-lackin' on that, man.
That one's long.
I just tried to cram 5 books into a half hour. It didn't work.
I was gonna crack that just the other night, and I got as far as basically like opening the first couple pages, looking at the title, like the title page, like the book plates, and I was like, yeah, no, not tonight.
It's as you might expect, kind of all over the place.
Well, I like things that are all over the place. Let me get in there and I'll see. I don't want you to taint my judgment.
You're right. There's definitely some interesting stuff going on in there.
As long as there's things to talk about.
It's interesting, and I think Melanie's probably read more of this because you've read more like random indie Grant Morrison stuff than I have.
Mm-hmm.
It's interesting to see what Grant Morrison comes up with when he's just completely on-chained. Like he has, it's an indie thing, his own idea. He's not I mean, he gets away with wild stuff using like characters like Batman. Like his Batman run is bonkers, but it's interesting to see the stuff he comes up with when he does not constrained by
no
any
canon.
of that. Yeah, just his own thing.
Yeah.
I have a feeling it probably gets weirder too, but yeah.
I like the weird.
You'll like this.
Oh, good.
So yeah, we'll talk about Invisibles, and that'll be the main focus. Oh, and 2017, I just have to resurrect webcomic recommendations. I've been reading.
Oh, hey.
I've been reading something that's pretty interesting that I'll probably talk about next episode.
Yeah.
Nice.
I should write some down of the ones that I look at once in a while.
Yeah, you come across some all the time.
I do, but I just never, take the time to make a list or anything.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm not a good person like you guys. I don't remember the names of all the writers and artists and all that. I'm just like, I saw this thing and it was cool and it was like this, and that's it.
I Google all the books before the episode. That's how I remember. I mean, there's certain writers and artists I do recall. Like we were talking about Alex Ross or Grant Morrison, obviously.
Mm.
But those are the big name peoples in comics.
Yeah.
But for the most part, yeah, some notes before each episode, so I sound like I know what I'm talking about.
Mm. What I would love to do is, but I don't know, you'd have to Grawlix the heck out of it, is online, Axton Kaler. We've had him on the show before. We've mentioned him several times on the show. He recently read Fight Club 2, which was the sequel that was made direct to comic book. He has such a, an intense reaction. It's very similar to how we felt about Thor, is how he feels about Fight Club 2. He really enjoyed it right up until that very end, like the end, and he hates that. Like, he hates the ending. I would love to just record him hating on it.
Oh, yeah?
Because it's been entertaining, hugely entertaining to hear him hate on it.
Why are there so many people that have trouble finishing?
Yeah, the end of things, tough, I guess.
Yeah.
And, I mean, a little bit is, as you're experiencing reading a story, watching a movie, as you're experiencing something, I'm sure each person kind of is building up their own expectations. But there are definitely lots of stories that universally have, like, just terrible endings, where everybody's like, what? Why did you do this?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, yeah, I don't know.
That cheerleader is actually a man!
Yeah!
Completely differently sized and shaped man. How did he squeeze himself into that little cheerleader body?
But it's okay, because when the policemen come up, they're like, you know what? We get what you're doing.
We get what you're doing.
It's okay.
We understand it. We respect it. We're just gonna let you leave.
We're gonna let you go. It's fine. Just this one time.
Next time.
Yeah.
But next time. There are certain writers that are very well respected for writing certain things, writing about like diverse characters, and I'm all for that. Like, I don't want to sound like a jerk who's like, no female superheroes and this and that, or trans or gay characters, stuff like that. But then I'll read some of their stuff and I'll be like, it feels so forced.
That's
though.
exactly what I'm. Yeah.
Like, why can't the character just be that and exist? And it's okay, like, deal with the problems, but it's like, it never feels like they're just naturally dealing with these problems. It feels like there's a story happening and then these problems are just forced in there to, like, look at me. Look what I'm doing. Isn't this great? I'm doing this for people. We need more stories where it's just okay that they're there.
Yeah.
Not preached, just good, solid characters.
Of this topic, talking about it in respect to this Thor, Goddess of Thunder is probably the safest book we could probably talk about it. But in this Thor thing, like, it comes up that she's a woman and people are shocked and it's a thing and she's like, oh, what's wrong with that and this and that. Like, and that it's fine, it works. But then, like, there's like, it seems like there's this need to push it to where it becomes like it just becomes.
They just went too far.
Yeah.
They had it, and then they took it to that next step that they didn't need to go to.
Certain writers, I'm not going to say names, that are very celebrated for doing these kind of things, and I'm sure they've done lots of things that are good in this respect, but the stuff I've read, it felt too much like making a big deal of it. And it's like, don't make a big deal of it. Like, you're known for doing this, but you've made yourself known for doing this instead of just doing it naturally and doing it honestly.
And the problem with it is it won't stand the test of time. We'll look back at it in a time capsule manner and we'll say, oh, yeah, this is when everything was really coming to the forefront. And you can see how they're just beating the drum in this work in particular. And, you know, like, I don't know, from a time capsule standpoint, that'll be kind of fascinating, but it won't make it better literature. It won't make it stand the test of time. It will be very dated when we read it. And I feel like this is not that old, but it already feels like that. Like, oh boy, you know, this is new and edgy, and they knew they were taking a risk. And so they just have to really drive home the point how this is okay.
You know who did switching to a woman, right? The Master.
Oh, yeah.
Oh,
that was great.
That's a really good point.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The Doctor didn't walk up and be like, I get it.
No.
Although maybe it wouldn't be his place.
She did give him a kiss, though, so I don't know. That one, you know.
Yeah, but that's the beauty of the Master. That's not really a surprise.
That's true.
They have a complicated relationship.
True. And we knew it. It wasn't like it was a mystery at that point.
I mean,
I guess.
To be honest, it is a little weird because it's not like we've known them to be lovers or anything, but when you think about it...
But it was also it was him messing with the Doctor, and her messing with the Doctor. You know, like that's totally in character.
Oh, yeah, exactly. And Missy is a particularly, like... At first, I didn't really care for her, but she kind of grew on me. She's a particularly, like, frisky version of the Master. But you see it with the Doctor, like, their personalities do change with each regeneration.
And I think, I mean, I don't know why this seems this way to me. I think if the Master were a woman, he'd be excited with the possibilities of it, and it would make him frisky. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Yeah. I can get on board with that.
I buy it. It was well done. See, you can do, you don't have to force it, make it all weird like.
And maybe Missy is pushing it in terms of name, but didn't they even make a joke? Like, what did you expect me to go by, Mistress or something? Like, they intentionally didn't do that?
Yeah.
I don't know.
And the Ronnie was already taken. No.
The Ronnie.
Oh, you know what else? They did Captain Jack very well also.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Good job, Doctor Who.
Well, and
Good job.
even, like...
With all of those things.
The British are less repressed in that regard, though, which is weird to say
Oddly
because they're
enough,
very repressed about other stuff.
Yeah,
oddly enough, I think you're right.
It's true. This is Melanie, and if you can't be Grawlix, why bother?
This is Randy. To crush your enemies, see them driven before you, and hear the lamentation of their Grawlix.
This is Jesse, and over here, our bass player, the Duke of Spook, the Doc of Shock, the man with no tan, say hello to Grawlix himself, the Grim Reaper.
Thank you for listening to the Grawlix Podcast. The Grawlix Podcast is a production of the Electronic Media Collective and Vorpal Arrow Studios. For more Grawlix Podcasts, check out GrawlixPodcast.com. Also find us on iTunes, Stitcher, Google Play Music, YouTube, ElectronicMediaCollective.com, Facebook.com/Grawlix Podcast, Twitter.com/Grawlix Podcast, all the .com/all the Grawlix Podcast. And hear the lamentation of their Grawlix. I Grawlixed women.
You did. I see what you did there.
To hear the lamentation of their whoever, people. Doesn't have to be women.
No.
It could be men.
That's a Thor subject right there.
I have to edit that into the episode somewhere. That's a good one.